Good morning. Few hours into a new day here, or 1 hour. We can see, and Marty's been tracking AXS pretty well, that when it regained its 200s below it, it did have extreme strength. Um, it is in the NFT category, and we can see a few other NFTs not only are strong themselves and have been over this June-July period, or end of June period to July. Uh, and they're a bit like Flow is a bit more new, so it didn't even have the 200 MAs appearing on any of its charts. But we can look at an older NFT coin. And we'll go Binance. And we can see we might be getting a bit of a follow through here. Now, AVX is smaller, has a bit more room, but it's still a $1 billion coin now. It's in the top 100 on CoinGecko. And now Mana, and this is happening with a few NFT coins, but it's easier to see on Mana now. Mana's regaining their 200 MA, both. And just like AXS, it has the 100 MA as resistance above that allows it to get, be a powder keg if it gets above and allow it to spurt up much higher. It does have the same formation of old highs above acting as resistance, also acting as a powder keg if we get above it. AXS is something to keep an eye on now, just to see how it reacts at this level. Does it hold this old resistance, turn it to support? If so, that's a great sign for the market. We do need to be careful that we're not just getting a bounce in the total market, but if it is just a bounce, there still can be plays to be had for people like Marty and those following him for a few NFTs following the leader at the moment, and a similar pattern arriving where it gets just above its old resistance, turning that into potential support, but at least just getting above around the $2 mark that we can see is quite, it's quite the move. AXS is, I think it's more than 5x, 6x in this time. But the thing we need to be careful of, and it may work itself out. Oh, we need to go all. May work itself out because strength can, undermine this bearish outlook. And very quickly we can see even how a few months ago everyone was so bullish, and then with the quickest drop everyone's saying for the next 3 months or 6 months or a year it's bearish. And that's because it is reactive. People do need to be reactive. It's hard just to you don't want to just have one outlook and be sure about it. The guy who has the stock to flow chart, plan B, even he gets nervous when it gets to, it's pushing his trend line and he might be proven it, the trend has not followed this time. So no one knows. So it is good to be reactive and to try and hedge when you see the opportunity to. But this is a similar look here, where we've gone under, and here is a bit more of candle closing and candle above opening, and we haven't had that yet, but we did go under, and now we're regaining. Now this is the total market excluding Bitcoin. Now is the total market going to follow what AXS has done? Or is it as the total market rather than just not NFTs, but is it going to just find this resistance and get the bounce up to here and then move back down, either to old lows or creating new lows and getting that kind of drop that a lot of people are wanting? I imagine most people are wanting. And that would be okay. But what there's a good chance it seems of happening is that was our dip. Now, we've had plenty of time to add to this range, and if people wanted to add, they can add just as much here as they could here. And they, well, not just as much, there's more liquidity around here, but I'm guessing that's not going to be a problem for most people. I would imagine less than 0.001%. So we can still add here like we could add here, or do the exact same movements, take the same actions. But we might lose this opportunity soon. If we have an AXS AXS situation where price does get here and basically doesn't have the rejection that, oh, it did have a rejection, we can see on there on the daily. It did pull back a bit, but not as much as people would want. Didn't retest the 200s yet, and then straight back up. Essentially 3x from the line. Now, AXS is going to be a lot more volatile than the entire crypto market, but a similar like pattern can play out where it gets here, doesn't have the rejection that a lot of people would like to see, basically a failed breakdown, moving to about here, and then back up. Now, could it break highs? Maybe. If it does, obviously we're back on. And if you look through, and I don't want to have this video go too long, but if you look at the Bitcoin or total market, BTC, USD on Bitstamp, you can see there's basically been only very few times that the June-July period hasn't caused a bit of a dip. The June-July period has usually caused time and time, year and year again, a bit of a dip. And then preceding that, it can go further down, but it has been a dip sometimes during the trend and then proceed back up, which we have gotten here and we may be getting with the market. So it's worth keeping an eye on not being overly bearish. I think there's plenty of hedges to be had, but it's also good to be aware that it might not get the drop that nearly everyone is wanting.